Hello again to everybody. Happy Solstice. We are starting with what we may call actually a workshop, because I would like to invite you also to be very active. You might share with us if you want, but most importantly, do this for you on your own. It would be nice if you have a notebook or somewhere where you can write. Perhaps you might use your phone if there is no other option, but it's better to put things down because in this way, they are kind of becoming real, even if it's just on paper for now. So what we will do today is a little discussion about the middle of the year, the middle of 22, the solstice. We will talk about what does it mean, how we can use it. And the workshop part is related to some kind of a reassessment of the first half of the year, and then setting some intentions for the next half of the year, the rest of this year. After we do that, I would love also to answer your questions. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask, maybe at the end, so we don't kind of like cut the process right now. But I would love to also answer any questions you might have. So happy to see you on a Tuesday, but also not any regular Tuesday, but the actual solstice. So what is this basically? The solstice is for the Northern Hemisphere, the beginning of summer, and also the longest day we have in the year, again, for the Northern Hemisphere. So in a way, we can use this time to bring more light towards something. So that's one thing which is essential. The other thing is that the solstice is the beginning of a new season. So in this case, for the Northern Hemisphere, it's the summer. And it means that we have cardinal energy. The sun is already in Cancer, like literally a few hours ago, the sun ingressed in Cancer. So cardinal energy, what is this about and how to use it? The cardinal energy is an energy of the impulse, the initiation of things. And it can be also like a door or like an opening or a transition into something new. It's already, but it's not like we are in the middle of the transition. This is more like what's happening before, when we have the mutual energy, like the previous 1 month. Now with the actual ingression of the sun in Cancer, in a cardinal sign, it's like we already are in the new space and the door is kind of closed. So it's not like, being in between, hesitating. We are in a new space. And the way to use this is kind of like invest your energy also in something new. Find a new direction, a new focus. We will talk about this. And again, we will set some intentions. Those that are watching the recording later, you can absolutely follow what we are doing. It will have also a beneficial influence. And again, you will be part of our flow. So it still counts. Okay, I will also show you in a moment the chart, the actual chart of the ingression of the solstice, because it's a pretty interesting one, and we can see how actually supportive the energies are. So that's also something we should celebrate, actually. Okay. So the longest day of the year. This is the time when the sun is at the highest position in the sky, observed from the earth, of course, and again from the northern hemisphere. So this is also a resource that we can connect to, a resource that we can use. So we might also make a short meditation at the end to also tune better and connect and really allow this creative energy to be part of our lives and to bring more light, basically. So again, as I said, this is kind of a workshop. So I would like to invite you to start thinking about it. Like, where would you like to have more light in your life? More awareness, more answers, more creative energy. What is that specifically for you? And what we will also work with is the inner state and also what we want in the outside world. So some people tend to over-focus only on one of those, but I think that both are important. And we are going to start with what we want to experience internally, like for ourselves, as a feeling, as a state. And then imagine that you already have this. What can you do and what would you like to do or have also in the outside world? So it's not about just, I don't know, wanting to have a better job or more money or a relationship. It's wonderful when we may also wish for those, but before we get there, how do you want to feel inside? That's essential. And the solstice, as I already said, is an ingression of the sun in Cancer. Cancer is a very kind of like a deep personal energy. So we really need to start from there, like to imagine what we would like to feel. Maybe you want to feel more relaxed or more joyful or happier, or you might come up with something else. But this will be definitely a starting point. All right, now let me share Let me share with you very quickly the chart. So this is the horoscope of the solstice. As you can see, the sun is already in Cancer. Okay. So what we are doing is we will briefly look into the positions of the other planets, because it's kind of like it really is not kind of, but it really is like a horoscope of this solstice. So it's like all of the planets are bringing their energy in a specific way. So what is the most impressive here? The most impressive for me is that most of the planets are essentially very strong. It means in very nice, comfortable, strong sign positions. We can look at Mars, which is in Aries, Venus in Taurus, Mercury in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius, Neptune in Pisces. So far, how many are those? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I'm counting correctly, yes, 5 planets in the signs of their rulership, which means like 6 out of 6, the maximum points. That's already a very beneficial energy. That's already something that we can use, and it's like a, you know, energy that supports you to create, to feel like you really have more resources. And even if we look at the other planets, we can see also Jupiter is strong. Jupiter is in Aries. This is a comfortable sign for Jupiter. So that's a pretty good starting point for us. If we look at the overall scheme of the, or pattern of the chart, we will see that Pluto is the first planet of this configuration. And the sun is the last planet. That's also essential because we are actually looking at the chart of the solstice. So the sun is, yeah, has a huge importance, but Pluto as well, because the first planet, it's what creates the impulse. It's how the energy starts working. What that means in our case is that overall the time is very beneficial for initiating some transformational processes. Of course, always starting from us. Like whatever you want to change in the outside world, job, relationships, money, health, is health something external? Maybe it's more internal, but whatever it is, we always need to look into ourselves and begin the process from here. So Pluto can trigger some important, not necessarily very easy processes, but they can be very meaningful. And the result can be like, wow, you know, like big shifts. So my advice is, don't be afraid to look and go deeper into whatever scares you, into whatever feels like a limit or a blockage or something that you just cannot influence, you cannot change. See what's behind there. So to work with some kind of limiting restrictions, fears, and especially things that come from a very deep level, more like a subconscious level, the time is absolutely amazing. So be brave, be open, and search for deeper answers within you. And don't be afraid of the change and the transformation. We all are, even if we say that we want a change and transformation, the deeper layers of the psyche usually have resistance. So it's normal. But here comes also the power of the conscious decision and the intention. So we need to work, we need to address this possible inner resistance towards change, towards transformation, towards going deeper and looking deeper into like what is really stopping you. If you want to have something different or something more, what are your fears? So Pluto plays this major role for us right now. And the last planet of the configuration is the Sun. So that's very symbolic. Basically, the last planet, this is like the goal, where the energy is flowing towards. And yes, it really resonates also with, the importance of this whole event, that the Sun symbolizes our, first of all, conscious awareness. So one of our tasks is to try to get to something deeper, something more kind of like a secret, subconscious. That's Pluto. And to bring it higher to our awareness, to bring light to it. Of course, we don't expect like to, dig everything at the same time and like, okay, we are done, that's it. Like, no, everyone will dig as much as they are ready to, and as much as it's appropriate for them right now. And we are not supposed to do like all the work at the same time, but do some work. That's still a huge win. So higher conscious awareness, realization about what do we really want, how we want to express ourselves, what would our heart really want. Those are some of the important questions to ask ourselves, with the Sun being as the last planet and also like the main actor in our event, the solstice. So yeah, think about where do you want to see more light? Where do you want to create something? And also something great, maybe better than all of the others. Who do you want to be? So the time is great, again, for some self-reflection and deep transformations, with the intention and the idea of who do you really want to be as a person, as a woman, as a man, or whatever you want to describe yourself with. Yeah, and that's a very rewarding work to recognize like what is your highest ideal for yourself. Maybe we don't need to think in terms like generally for your whole life. You might do it if you feel like, okay, this is the right question for you, but you might think like more short term, like for the next half year, 6 months. So that's what we can use this time for. And again, I want to repeat that most of the planets are in their strongest signs positions. So that's also kind of a gift. Now, I hope you have your notebooks or paper or your phone, something to write with. And I want to invite you to think about the last 6 months. And please, please try not to turn this into some kind of a blaming, judgmental, self-criticizing exercise. It's absolutely not the point. And don't make it too complicated. Just go with the flow, see what shows up for you right now. And we are all going to take a little time to answer those questions. Again, I'm inviting people who watch later also to take this time. They may have the luxury also to pause the video if they need more time. For us, we need to, go with the main flow. So take a little moment and imagine the first 6 months of this year. Maybe see yourself, where were you on New Year's Eve? If you can remember. Interesting that right now I need some time to remember where was I on New Year's Eve. Okay, yes, got it. So think about New Year's Eve or the 1st of January. Maybe you have written some New Year's resolutions. Maybe you have followed through, or maybe not. It's okay. So 6 months after last New Year's Eve, what has changed? What did you improve in yourself? What did you accomplish? It could be internal, some kind of self-work, could be external, but don't neglect also the internal. So yes, take some time and try to write down. Don't edit too much. You are not supposed to show this to anybody. It's more for yourself. And focus on the positive side. You can mark it with one word if you don't want to write long explanations in sentences. If you have had some kind of insights or realizations or changes related to your values, those are also important. Don't neglect those. Or if you have taken care of someone, if you have helped someone, if you have done nice things for people. And your work, it doesn't matter what it is. Think about the actual work you have done also for other people, even if you think that it's not that significant. But also, this is a good one. Imagine how many people you have served with your work, even if it's, I don't know, you're selling coffee or whatever it might be. Just think about to how many people you have given part of your energy, even if it's just, making coffee or whatever. Even if you think that it's not that special, you have contributed in some way. You have connected, you have given some of your energy to those people. That's very nice. Okay. You might want to continue with this later. You might make this actually like a long list and really, list all of the things that you can think of. It's not like once and for all, like you can continue later as well. Okay, so again, you might continue with this. It's great, and also please keep reminding yourself about the people you have helped in whatever way, even if it's like the most insignificant way in your opinion, even if it's like part of your obligations, job description. Imagine like all of those people together. Or if you're not working, you can still find a way to serve other people. Maybe you take care of family or kids or parents. Then your focus is more specific, but usually the help you are providing is even more. So we should not neglect those cases as well. Or if you are studying as well. Okay. So when we move to the next part of the exercise, I would like you to still keep this kind of like in the background of your mind, like the positive things, even the most insignificant in your opinion, to use this energy as a fuel in a way, as a motivation. And if you feel like overall the last 6 months were not great, or maybe are even very bad or whatever, that's okay too. Imagine how you are kind of like closing this door, and now it's like a second beginning of the year. It really is a second beginning of the year. So the hardship, the disappointments, the difficulties, the doubts, the fears, we may also leave them behind. And now let's move to the next. And again, if you need more time, you can always continue this work later on your own if you feel this desire. The next part is, what do we want for the next 6 months? So again, keep in mind that right now we have all of those, like many of the planets supporting us. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, even Jupiter is strong. And we didn't mention this, but the transit moon right now is in Aries in conjunction with Jupiter, which is also a very abundant, beneficial energy of growth. Another reason why this is important is because the moon is the actual ruler of the sun right now. So the sun has just moved to Cancer. So the moon generally plays an important role, but this time even more. So the moon in Aries, as a sign, Aries is not very strong for the moon because it's different from the nature. Like the planet and the sign have different energy, but we can use it in a beneficial way. And the beneficial side of this is to find more courage within ourselves, to feel braver, to feel more independent, to rely more on our personal willpower. And also, one of the most important, to be active, to initiate, to take action. So that's like the general impulse coming from the solstice. Transformational, because Pluto is the first planet, providing lots of resources because we have many planets in strong sign positions, focused on our genuine self-expression, understanding more about ourselves, transforming ourselves as well. Because I'm not sure if you noticed, but there is a quincunx between Pluto and the Sun, a quincunx aspect. And the nature of this aspect is also transformational. And at first, it can trigger some kind of difficulties, something we need to work with, we need to change, like effort. This is the key word, effort and work. But then if we participate, if we are active, the energy tends to become more beneficial with time. So yeah, think about the actions. Where would you like to be more active in your life? Of course, another thing you can do is actually to analyze your own transits for today. Like, look where the planets are falling in your chart. And that's something that we can do, I can do for everybody because, yeah, it's an individual work, but you might do it for yourself and check where the planets are in your chart right now. The moon and Jupiter. This can be an area of growth, area where, again, you can be more independent, you can take more action. My neighbors are transforming something. I'm not sure if you can hear it. Anyway, speaking about digging deep, and yeah, someone is digging something. Think about the actions you need to take, and specifically pay attention to the position of the sun. So the first degree of Cancer, the moon position. I will share briefly to show you the degrees. So of course, the sun is the first degree of Cancer. This is the actual ingression. The moon is 4 degrees in Aries. I will not talk about the others because that might be too overwhelming. And if you want to do this, you can use the software and check it. But those are the 2 essential planets to look for: the sun and the moon, the ruler of the sun. Where exactly are those planets for you? What are they triggering? Which houses? And all of that. Those could be important areas for you. Mm-hmm. Yes, Jupiter in Aries is squaring the sun. That's correct. Neptune is also squaring the sun, of course. The moon is also squaring the sun, actually. This is just confirming and showing that We need to take some action and we need to make some changes. That's important. Okay, let's focus on the next part. What are we going to manifest? Each of us, of course, that's a personal question and focus and decision. So take a little time. And you might want to imagine yourself already on the next New Year's Eve. So the 31st of December, 2022. And looking back towards the last 6 months, what would you like to see? And again, I want to invite you here first to pay attention to personal qualities like or feelings or inner states. Like, how do you want to feel? And write those down. Again, you can just put it as one word or explain it with more. Don't overthink it. You don't need to choose only one or two. Like, you can write down as many as you want. And now think about also the outside world or results that you want to have in the material reality, not just as a feeling or an inner state, but as some kind of results, achievements, actual events or changes or possessions, anything. You can also decide which will be your main priority. It's nice if you can define one, maximum two priorities. Is it your health, your body, or relationships, or career, or creativity, or education, whatever it might be? It's nice to have it as an intention. And also one good question to ask yourself. Which would be the one thing that if you are able to accomplish or have or receive by the end of the year, you will feel happy, you will be fulfilled? Basically, this is another way of asking yourself, like, which is really the most important. That if you get it, you know that you will be, yeah, happy with those 6 months and with yourself and your life in general. And if you can, I would recommend you not to postpone this answer for later. To think too much about it, to allow yourself to hesitate, like try to make the decision right now. You might be more specific later, but there's a general direction, like, is it your personal life? Is it money? Is it health? Is it also, it could be something internal, as a feeling or a state you want to have. Okay. Or another option is that it could be a process you want to dedicate your time to. It could be something like you want to take care of your children, or you want to be more present for them. We shouldn't neglect those as well. Or it could be something like creative development, growth. So, yes, again, you might continue later. Expand the list. But again, this is my advice. Really focus on the one priority that is the most important right now. This is, yeah, very important. Okay. So if you have any questions, please share them in the chat about the solstice, about something you're wondering about, astrology related mostly, but yeah, if you have other questions also you can ask. And I was thinking about talking about the new project that I'm starting, but I think that I will do that another time. I don't want to mix the energies right now. So yeah, if you are interested in that, of course, I will let you know again. It's basically a combination of using astrology and GSR. GSR is a method which works with our energy flow that comes from the family field, and basically it fixes whatever blockages we have. So it's an amazing technique, the most transformational I have found so far, for sure. And yeah, but again, if you are interested, you can always contact me on Telegram or send me an email. I would love to answer your questions, but as a more general presentation, we are going to do this another time. Julie, what do you mean? About the project? Mm-hmm. So basically, my idea is this project to include 3 sessions. Of course, if someone wants, we can always extend this. The sessions are for now long because we start with astrology analysis. Then we have the actual session. So 2.5 hours you need to have. These are similar to family constellations. There are some connections, but it's a unique method. But again, it works with the family field, yes, but it doesn't include representatives. The specialist, in this case me, is doing all of the work for you. It can be done online. I am doing it online. So yeah. About prices and all of that, you can find it on the website. And there is a difference between just getting a GSR session and astrology and GSR session. So you will find this on the website. If it's confusing, again, you can send me an email about it. Yes. Okay, any questions about the solstice, or maybe you have noticed something in your chart? You can ask me any astrology questions. Does Pluto and the Sun always have a quincunx relationship? No, I was talking about, let me show you. The actual chart that we have. So here is Pluto and the Sun, and this is basically the quincunx aspect we can find. So specifically in this chart, we have this aspect, and specifically for this event applies what I told you about the transformations that are required, how at first it might feel more difficult, and with time it might get easier. So yeah, that was the Sun and Lilith. Yes, they are quite close, yes, in conjunction around 7-degree orb. I do use Lilith, like I don't over focus on it, but yes, I work with Lilith. And this is, I have webinars on Lilith. So we have talked about this, how Lilith, the energy of Lilith has something close to Pluto. It's not the same, but again, it's deep, it's emotional. There is a lot of dark, subconscious things there. So in our case with the solstice, this actually accentuates the theme that we already have, like the connection between Pluto and the Sun. Lilith being very close to the Sun kind of like intensifies all of this energy, and also can be a great time to work with deeper, more subconscious patterns and bring light there, awareness, all of that. So yes, we can use Lilith. Again, it intensifies the energy, but also the ability for transformation is even higher. I would say probably even more for women, because Lilith is a feminine archetype. Very interesting. She is actually in mythology, in the story, she's the first woman before Eve, but she was not treated as equal by Adam, so she left. And of course, there's lots of bitterness there, anger. So we might look also into this and work with those emotions as well. I have Sun transits starting tomorrow. Opposition to natal Neptune, enshrining my natal Pluto. Are these transits I need to focus to maximize the energy of the solstice? Yes, yes, definitely. And Julia, in your case, having a natal aspect between the Sun and Pluto, in your case, it's a trine. Let me see is that correct? No, you say that the Sun will be, okay. But anyway, it's triggering your natal Pluto, so it's even more transformational, and you might look into the houses where the transit Sun is, where your natal Pluto is. Those areas can also be important. Yes, if you find that the Sun, the transit Sun is having like very close aspects to your natal planets, that's even better to work with this specifically. Fun fact for me, on the progress chart, my Mercury turned direct today, solstice day, yay. I know the change can be felt earlier or later, not necessarily the same day. Yes, yes. But again, it's a pretty nice coincidence. Yeah. Yeah. So happy direct Mercury to you, Liv. It's time to share more of what you know with other people. Yeah. In my natal chart, my Sun in Cancer and Lilith are conjunct. Oh, that's very interesting. In the 5th, I will be very interested to see where the Sun and Moon are transiting for me today. The Sun most likely will be also in your 5th house, even though you need to check where is the 1st degree. So it might be either in 4th or 5th house. And the Moon might be in 1st or 2nd house, most likely, but yes, you can check more precisely. The Sun in Cancer falls in my 7th. So does this mean that for the next 6 months, this is triggering a positive influence on my relationships, love life? Yes, there's a very good chance for that. And especially if you want to set some intention and work with this. Yes. The house system I'm using is Placidus. Mostly. I mean, practically always. Just I make an exception when the chart is very kind of weird, and it depends on the places where the person is born. Like in some very northern areas, the chart may look very strange using Placidus. So that's when I would use equal house. But yeah, Placidus mostly. Okay. So a new season is coming for us with the new impulse. But again, I want to bring your focus to the fact that the sun is in Cancer. So we really need to search for this energy and impulse and to connect with it, first of all, in an inner level, inside, and then to use it to take action in the outside world. For relocation chart, I would use Placidus as well. Yes. Transit Uranus is in the 8th house, squaring my sun in the 10th. Is this why I'm so anxious today? Could be a big reason for that, yes. This is already like a personal transit of big transformations and changes. So yeah. The new moon in my tent. My daughter won't do I recommend. But if someone else recommended the same thing, she says yes. Taking away my power, Pluto, in conjunct the sun. Yeah, search for my power inside, freedom. Yes, that's, I think, a nice advice for everybody, to search inside for the freedom. Okay, so let's do something at the end, just very quickly, a very quick meditation to, visualize whatever we want to have and, to connect with this energy, the energy of the sun mostly. So it won't take long. I hope you can have a little bit of private, quiet time and space. And you can just gently close your eyes for a moment. Feel your body, how it feels. Feel your heart. Imagine how you are smiling to your own heart and with your own heart. And you might actually also want to smile with your actual lips. And if you can find something to be thankful for, and I really hope you can, to be grateful about the air that we breathe, the wonderful sun that we have, the countless possibilities, the positive future which is expecting you. So try to feel as good as you can about yourself, the way you are right now. And just to relax as much as possible. And imagine yourself on New Year's Eve, the 31st of December, 2022. spending it the way you want, with friends or family, or quietly, the way you really want it. And imagine yourself fulfilled, being proud with yourself, with what you were able to accomplish, the way you have taken care of yourself, the journey you have had internally, externally, the inner shifts and achievements and improvements. And let's imagine that somewhere in the space we have a bowl made of something like a gold, some kind of beautiful metal. And there we are putting our intentions. And it's the same bowl that we are connecting to right now. Everybody may see it differently, but it's basically all the same. And just put your intention there. Right next to the intentions of everybody else joining us. And let's invite the sun to bring its creative energy, to bring light to our intentions, to our bowl. To ask the sun for help and guidance, for light. And to manifest our desires in the best possible way for us and for everybody else. So your intention is there. The sun is nurturing it. And whatever's best will happen at the best possible time for you. And now we can slowly come back, bring our attention back to the body, knowing that the seed has been planted, the intention is where it needs to be, and it's all good. And again, bring your attention to the heart, to your body, to your feet. Feel the connection between your feet and the ground. You can move a little bit your toes, your fingers. And when you want, you can open your eyes or take more time if you need it. And if you want to share something, please do that. How do you feel? Sometimes I'm not sure if I'm satisfied with what I come up with. That's something to look into. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I hope you feel inspired, mostly inspired. I think that's the most important. Excited would be great also. And I hope this solstice will really bring you exactly what you need. Okay. With that, we will end our solstice celebration. Yes, ready for a fresh start. Exactly. That's the point. Middle of the year, great time to wrap up the first 6 months and start fresh. Focus on the next. Thank you for your time, for your energy, for those people that will watch the recording also. You are important as well. Everybody is important in the process. So it was my pleasure to spend this time with you. And hopefully I will see you very soon. If you have any questions, again, you can always contact me on Telegram or my email or the website, or if you can find me in other ways, be my guest. Okay, take care, everybody, and happy solstice.